So how do we design it? Our process starts with a phone call, which is an element of screening, I guess. And what we're trying to get to initially is what you call cultural fit. It's probably a similar thing. We have quite a clear set of values. We've done some work on values to include behavioral statements, which is something I was really passionate about. I think behavior more than value is what you want. How does it live, because people can interpret values in multiple ways and you need to make sure you're aligned. So a bit of a cultural screening is where we start. Like I said, an understanding of whether somebody's being pushed or pulled towards a role, what are their motivators, what type of person are they, as much as we can gather. The next stage would be that we would meet somebody in person, and what we like to do is go through their career history, but we do it in a chronological order, which I always find really interesting. So you kind of go back to a point in time in the past in their career and just walk their journey with them. There's some science to how we do that, but ultimately I think it's quite a useful way of just understanding people's movements, motivations, touching on the things you talked about. How successful were they? What did success look like? How did they quantify it? What did their team think of them? We do a lot of questioning around team and what people thought, and we are very robust in terms of speaking to people.
So what would be an exemplary question?
We like to know who you work for. We like to know what they would say about you, or what they will say about you when we speak to them, because we will. We like to know people that work for you, what they will say about you, people you worked alongside, how they describe you, what they would have fed back in terms of strength, but also how they would have expected you to develop over time. Are people humble enough to take that feedback? Are they self-perceptive enough to understand that these are areas they can improve on? Are they people that people like to work with? And do they like to be around people? It's always interesting to hear people talk about their team. I've also found it interesting before to hear someone pretty normal to say, what would your boss say of you? Less normal to say, when I speak to that person who worked for you, what will they say about you? And it's interesting to see how people react to that. We also test it with our team, and we like to make sure people that interview with us, especially the ones that we like and go further in the process, meet a lot of people. And I think that's really key. One of the key traits I'm looking for is empathy, and somebody who is a people person and is warm to people and enjoys people. And one of the best ways to test that is to put them in the mix with a lot of different people. One of the steps we've included for membership is coming in and spending some time in one of our spaces with one of our teams. And that is generally to come in and work with the team, meet them all, meet members, interact with people. And we're assessing, we're looking at how they interact, what do first impressions look like, who do they spend time with, what do they do when they think we're not paying attention, So we're testing that empathy. And even between that, body language. Does this person smile? Are they naturally, do they feel a warm person? Would I like to hang out with them? Do I want to know more? Am I interested in them? Are they interested in me? So there's a few tests and let's say there's more science behind that. And then as a third stage, then we look at competencies. Then we look at the
competencies come
the final stage, yeah.
And is this the process for even entry-level positions?
Mm-hmm. There is a slightly streamlined process at the most entry level, but ultimately the thing that gets streamlined is the competencies, because we expect that person probably hasn't had a lot of career experience, but we're just as robust in terms of cultural fit, coming in and trialing with us and talking a little bit about their experience so far. That experience might be small. It might be some time at university. It might be some volunteering projects, but we still want to have that. So yes, we do streamline it slightly at the entry level, but it's the competency bit that gets streamlined, not the rest.